Hey guys, this video is going to be probably short or shorter, but I just want to review the reading in the textbook and just go over some of the terms, just so you have another way to hear it being explained and to go over your homework. If you remember, in the last video, we talked about why seasons change. So for example, I've got Earth right here. The N represents the northern hemisphere, and the land inside of it, and the S is the southern hemisphere, and the land inside that, and the blue is of course the water. So I've got my sun here, and remember that the Earth tilts on its axis, so it doesn't sit up straight like that, but it actually tilts. And this explains why we have seasons. So if it's tilted like this, you see that the sunlight is shining directly on the northern hemisphere. That's why we have summer, and that's why it's hot during the summertime, because we feel the warmth of the sun shining directly on us. And that's why the southern hemisphere is in wintertime. See that the sun isn't directly shining on them, so they don't get as much sunshine or warmth. So in this position, north is in summer and the south is in winter. But once it rotates, the opposite is true. Now, it's still tilted, and the southern hemisphere is tilted toward the sun. So the southern hemisphere gets all of the warmth and sunshine, and they're in summer, while the northern hemisphere is in winter. Right? So that's why seasons change. All right, so I'm going to go through the textbook and just go through some of those terms. Some of the new terms are going to be solstice, which has to do with the longest and shortest days of the year. And what I mean by that is the longest days of the year have to do with the days that gets the most sunshine, and the shortest days of the year are the days that get the least amount of sunshine. One is in summer and the other one is in winter. And the other term is equinox. Equinox refers to an equal amount of sunshine, of daytime and nighttime. Right? So in this first paragraph, it just kind of reviews why seasons change, and I just went over that. In this paragraph, it's saying that people living near the equator do not experience four distinct seasons. Instead, they have alternating wet and dry seasons. Those living near the north and south poles have short summers and long winters. Okay, so if you live near the equator, if you've ever been there, it's always really hot. Why is that? This isn't a very good drawing. In reality, I think the Earth is actually tilted like this. But equator gets the same amount of sunshine all the time. So you see that the sunshine is directly shining on the equator, and it's like that. It's like that all the time. You see the equator's right there, sun shining directly on it. The equator always gets the same amount of sunshine all the time. Well, why is that? The reason is because see how the equator goes around the center of the Earth? Well, the center of the Earth is the part that is always closest to the sun. See how the Earth kind of starts right here? The poles are always farthest away from the sun, which is why they're always cold. But the center of the Earth, which is where the equator is, that is closest to the sun all the time. So if you're if you're in a part of the world that's closest to the sun all the time, it's always going to be hot and warm. You're never going to have seasons change because you're always going to be closest to the sun. It doesn't get any farther away, and it doesn't get any closer to the sun. It's just always right there in the middle. That's why it's always warm, because it's closest to the sun. All right. And you can say the same thing for the poles. The poles never get any closer or any farther away to the sun because they're at the very top and bottom. They always stay there. So that means they're always cold. All right. So this next part is solstice, and it talks about a little bit down here as well. But solstice is just on June 22nd. People in the northern hemisphere experience more daylight hours of sunshine than any other day of the year. If you know what season June 22nd is in, this will help explain it. June 22nd is in summertime. And if you're in summertime, that means you get more sunshine, which means it makes it hot. The longest days of the year will always have more sunshine. So June 22nd is the summer solstice. That is the longest day of the year because it gets the most sunshine. And then the shortest day of the year is the winter solstice, and that means you get the least amount of sun, which means like you'll probably only have light from like 7 a.m. to maybe 5 p.m. on the winter solstice. Summer solstice, you'll have sunshine from like 6 something to like 9 o'clock. A lot more sunshine. All right, that's what a summer solstice is. One quick thing. The solstice, if you're in the northern hemisphere, the summer solstice is always going to cause one part of the earth to get the most sun. So if I live in Bowling Green and I am in the summer solstice, that means the northern hemisphere is getting the most sun, while the southern hemisphere gets the least amount of sun. Right. And then this last thing, equinox. That just means that in the northern hemisphere, the spring equinox happens around March 21st, and the fall equinox occurs around September 22nd. And this just means that during these events, the sun appears to be directly above the equator, and the amount of daylight and nighttime are almost equal everywhere on Earth. So that just means that on these days, March 21st and September 22nd, there's an equal amount of daytime and an equal amount of nighttime wherever you go. That's pretty much what that means. All right, so for your homework, I want you to do 12.3a, and all you got to do is just fill in the blank, and that's what it looks like. Okay, and then you can just turn it in. So 12.3a.